There is a moment so small you almost never see it. A moment when strength fractures and weakness is born. It does not happen when you fall, nor when you fail. Those are merely the consequences. No, weakness begins before the act. In the pause, the hesitation, the breath where you knew what needed to be done, but your spirit stepped back. In ancient Japan, a swordsman once said, "The battle is won long before blades ever cross." He wasn't talking about combat. He was speaking of the invisible battlefield inside every human being. The battlefield in the first seconds of waking, when the warm blanket feels safer than purpose. The battlefield in conversations, where truth rises to your tongue, but the fear of being seen makes you swallow it. The battlefield of opportunity, where your heart whispers go, but your doubts whisper wait, and the moment dies. Weakness does not arrive like a storm. It grows like mold, silently, slowly. In the dark corners you ignore. One excuse becomes two. Two become your nature. And one day you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the warrior you once meant to become. But the old masters practiced a discipline, the art of ending weakness before it begins. A technique of stopping hesitation at the root, before it has a chance to speak. If the quiet in your chest just shifted, stay, walk this path with me. In a quiet mountain village wrapped in cedar fog and morning frost, there lived a young swordsman named Akito. His movement was precise, his blade steady, his talent undeniable. And yet, when the moment of decision came, he froze. Not for long, a heartbeat, barely a blink. But in the world of a warrior, a single breath of doubt is enough to lose everything. During practice, his strikes were swift, clean, almost poetic, like water remembering its path down stone. But in real confrontation, his hand hesitated at the first spark of danger. His teacher saw it every time, that invisible flinch, the almost, the unfinished strike. To the villagers, Akito was gifted. To himself, he was haunted. Because deep inside, he knew the truth. His enemy was not outside. It lived in the pause before action. One evening, after another silent defeat in a sparring circle, Akito stayed alone in the empty dojo. The lanterns burned low. The tatami mat smelled of sweat, pine, and regret. He replayed the moment again and again, the instant before the strike, where his body knew what to do, but his mind interfered. A whisper, a flicker of fear, a memory of being hurt once before. Most men think weakness arrives as failure, but Akito began to see it clearly now. Weakness is born before the hand moves, before the foot steps, before the sword lifts. It is born in the story the mind tells in the half-second before action. Akito pressed his palm to the floor, bowing deeply, not to the dojo, but to the truth he could no longer ignore. He needed to learn how to end that hesitation at the root. And somewhere in the mountains, there was one man said to know how, a monk who spoke in silence. Akito found the monk at the edge of the forest shrine, an old man sitting beneath a maple tree whose leaves fell like slow-burning embers of autumn flame. He did not speak when Akito approached. He only looked at him, not with curiosity, but with recognition, as if he already knew the weight Akito carried. The monk's robes were simple, weather-worn. His breathing steady, unbroken, like the tide of an ancient sea. And when Akito bowed and asked for guidance, the monk simply pointed to the ground beside him. Sit, no sermons, no philosophy, no correction. Only silence. Hours passed. Wind moved through branches. Birds crossed the sky. Akito's thoughts began to twist, tighten, scream for explanation, and the monk said nothing. Not yet, because he was waiting for Akito to notice the war happening inside his own stillness. As the sun began to fall behind the cedar ridges, the monk finally spoke. So quietly, Akito wondered if he imagined it. "Do you feel it?" Akito swallowed. "Feel what?" The monk lifted a single finger. Not to the sky, not to the earth, but to the space between Akito's breath and his next thought. "There, the hesitation. It comes before your reasoning, before your memory, before your fear even has a name." Akito realized the moment he hesitated was not born from logic. It was older, deeper, animal, instinct shaped long before adulthood. In childhood wounds, unspoken shame, buried doubt. Fear did not shout. It whispered, and it wore many masks: responsibility, patience, being reasonable, being careful. But in silence, with no distractions left to hide behind, Akito finally saw it. The hesitation was not him. It was a guest living in his house. The monk placed a small wooden box in front of him, carved with a symbol Akito did not yet recognize. "Tomorrow," the monk said, "you will open this." Akito's chest tightened, because something inside him already knew. What was in that box would change everything. At dawn, mist rolled across the mountains like a slow tide of ghosts. Akito sat before the small wooden box the monk had given him. Its surface was smooth, but the carved symbol was sharp. A single unbroken stroke, like a sword drawn without pause. The monk nodded. "Open it." Inside lay a dull wooden practice blade, so ordinary it was almost disappointing. But the monk lifted it with reverence, placing it in Akito's hands. "This blade is not for cutting others," the monk said. "It is for cutting the moment before." They stood facing a suspended leaf, a single red maple leaf hanging by a thread. The monk said only one instruction: "Strike before you think." Akito inhaled. Hesitation surged up like a tide. His hand trembled. The leaf waited. The monk said nothing. Weakness was forming right there. The breath before movement. The tremor in Akito's hand deepened, not from lack of strength, but from the ancient instinct to wait, to reconsider, to be safe. His mind began building the story. Not yet. Prepare first, breathe again, center yourself, think it through. And that was the moment the monk stepped forward. Not to guide him, but to interrupt him. With the gentlest touch, he pressed a finger to Akito's sternum. "Do you feel it? The voice that delays. That voice is not you. It is every fear you never looked in the eye." The monk raised his own hand and, without warning, cut the leaf from the thread. Swift, clean, effortless. No wind, no hesitation. Just pure presence. Akito finally understood. Strength was not found in waiting for courage. Strength was born in the strike made while afraid. He lifted the blade again, this time without asking permission from thought. The leaf fell, silently, and the monk smiled for the first time. "Now," he said softly, "we begin the real work." The monk led Akito to a shrine deeper in the forest, an abandoned place where moss swallowed stone and time had forgotten the names carved into weathered tablets. There, he told Akito to kneel. "We do not fight the world," the monk said. "We fight the voice that tells us we are smaller than it." The wind moved through the pine trees like distant chanting. Akito's breath wavered. The monk handed him a mirror, its surface cracked, its frame wrapped with an old red thread, faded, frayed, holding it together by memory alone. "Look," the monk whispered. Akito expected to see his own reflection. Instead, he saw a younger version of himself, eyes wide, unsure, ashamed of something he could not yet name. A boy who once tried something and was punished for trying. His chest tightened, his hands trembled. He did not yet know the full memory, but the pain remembered itself. The monk spoke softly, as though addressing the boy inside the mirror, rather than the man kneeling before him. "Weakness did not come from failure," he said. "It came from the moment you decided you were not allowed to try again." The memory rose slowly, like a body surfacing from deep water. Akito, as a child, had stepped forward to speak during a village ceremony. His voice cracked. The crowd laughed. His father's eyes turned to stone. Not anger, disappointment. That cold, sharp disappointment that pierces deeper than any blade. And so the boy learned a lesson. Silence is safer than humiliation. That lesson had followed him into adulthood, into battle, conversation, love, purpose, coiled like a serpent around his throat. Akito felt the weight of it now. His hesitation had a name, and a face, and a beginning. The mirror flickered, and for the first time, the boy looked back at him. Not in fear, but in recognition. And Akito understood. The next cut he had to make was not with his hands. The monk led Akito back to the village, but not the same village he had left. The world itself looked sharper now, as if hesitation had once been a fog over his eyes. Waiting in the training grounds was a man Akito had never seen before. He wore no armor, carried no steel. His presence alone cut the air. A master swordsman, known only by rumor. The kind of man children whispered about and warriors avoided. Some said he once struck before lightning could touch ground. Others said he had killed without ever moving his blade. He bowed only once. The monk spoke. There will be no swords, no steps, no strikes. The first to flinch loses. They stood across from each other, only 2 breaths apart. No wind, no birds, no sound in the world. Only presence. Akito felt his heartbeat pressing against his ribs, the old hesitation rising like a tide from the deep. The hesitation came, not as fear, but as a familiar shadow reaching for the edges of his mind. The old Akito would have listened, would have swallowed his breath, would have waited for the right moment. But there is no right moment, only the one before you. He remembered the cracked mirror, the boy who learned silence, the red thread holding years of unspoken shame. He exhaled, not forcefully, not dramatically, just truthfully. And the hesitation broke. Akito stepped forward, a movement so small it could have been mistaken for a shift of balance, but the master felt it. That was the strike, the cut that required no blade. The duel ended without a single blow. The master bowed, lower than any man of his skill should bow. You did not defeat me, he said. You defeated the one who used to live inside you. The villagers watched in silence. A warrior had not grown stronger today. He had become whole. But something in the master's eyes hinted there was still one lesson left. Akito returned to the village not as a hero, nor as the child who once feared his own voice. He returned as someone quietly whole. There was no dramatic swagger, no sharpened glare, no need to prove anything. He woke before the sun not because discipline demanded it, but because purpose moved him from within. He spoke when truth rose, without forcing it and without swallowing it. He acted in the moment he knew, before fear had the chance to lace its fingers around his breath. People noticed it in small ways. The way he held conversations without rushing or retreating. The way he looked others in the eyes. The way he stepped toward challenges without warning, without ceremony, without hesitation. Not faster, just truer. And in that truth, others felt their own stillness break. One evening, Akito passed a group of young students practicing their forms. They moved well. Sharp movements, loud breaths, eager eyes. But he saw it instantly. That tiny flick of uncertainty before each strike. A hesitation he once knew so painfully well. He approached not as an instructor, but as someone who understood. He took a single leaf from a nearby branch, held it out between 2 fingers, and simply said, "Do not wait for certainty. Move when the truth reaches you, even if your hands tremble." The student struck. Leaves fell. Some clean, some broken, some untouched. But something shifted in the air. For the first time, they felt the moment when hesitation tries to form. Akito bowed, not to them, but to the silent lesson that had once saved him. Strength was never the absence of fear. It was the refusal to let fear speak first. And in that realization, the entire village seemed to exhale, as if something heavy had finally been set down. The core moral remained, quiet and unshaken. Weakness does not defeat the warrior. Hesitation does.